long ago was your first race here?
Just trying to think back to it. It was 2002 or 3, and it was very different back then. I remember walking to I can't remember the restaurant was, I'm afraid, but we had goulash that evening, which is the first, probably the last time I think, if I'm transparent, that I had goulash. It was a very different place, and of course the circuit's changed as well, and the track's changed. So circuit layout and track this year especially, they've just done another step up in terms of facilities. But it's always one that has fond memories for me. So the starting memory is this is my first race win with Jensen, actually, in 2006. That Jensen drove brilliantly. So I have fond memory from that perspective. And that's the other interesting thing with Budapest for me anyway. It is always a difficult mixture of weather. You either have this, which is glorious sunshine, and it'll be very warm, or big thunderstorms, and there's very little in between.
Did you always know that you wanted to be a team principal?
I didn't even know that I wanted to be part of Formula One when I was younger, and hadn't even decided to go into Formula One until I'd gone to university. I just enjoyed it as a sport. Something unique, and I think it is unique to the Budapest Grand Prix, which is we had a third lane that was made just for us. There's an art getting into the lane, which means you have to do it A, at speed, and B, without hitting any of the orange markers, which is a challenge that we all set to Lars. Lars can decide your speed. So Lars was in the team for over 11 years and looked after Frank, Claire, Jost, and now myself. And it's more than getting us to the circuit. It is also about looking after us whilst we're in and around the whole environment, because the job is complicated enough, so as much as I can hand over to Lars just makes my life better. So examples of that are we have a number of guests that join us, and Lars will look after those. So perhaps a more important element of his role is looking after our VIP guests come to the track. My sporting buddy, so we go cycling, we go running, we play paddle, we play tennis, so a whole mixture together really.
Yeah, we are up to 4 disciplines already.
4 disciplines, indeed.
Gym. We've at gym.
We add gym as well,
It's true. 5 disciplines.
I don't think we do gym very often.
James's weekend is usually very, very busy, as you can imagine. Usually coming to a race, we have a very good plan, which we made the days before, based on what's going on during the race weekend. There's a lot of engineering meetings, obviously. There's a lot of media. He meets guests, obviously. And then overall, he has to manage the team.
So, what is the team talk?
The team talk's a good moment, normally on a Friday, but it's a good moment to bring the whole team together and talk really openly and honestly about what's happening in our future. That's probably one of my most significant focuses, what's happening in 6 months and a year to now. Because when you're a racing team on the ground, you're really into the now. It is important to open people's minds up to what happens in the future. The second element is just honest, brutal honest almost, review of what happened last week and what we're expecting this week. I can hear them piling in, so we're probably a little bit early.
So, how do you pick your topics?
I'd make notes, normally on the way in this morning in fact, I was just making notes on what I think are the important points, the salient points that have happened over the last week, or the important points that I want everyone focusing on for the future. We're still not in a position where we're getting both drivers up there scoring points, and we have the capability of doing so. So whilst we take real happiness from what happened, we have to recognise also our failures. And then the final one is to wish everyone the very best as we go forward into a break, because it's a well-earned 2 weeks that everyone can, I hope, shut off and pick back up again in Zandvoort as though nothing has happened.
It's still isolated from the factory. It does not work.
It's better than it looked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than it looked. It's nice. The update's doing its job. So we're here in Budapest on a golf buggy on our way to the fan zone. And if you look over there, you can sort of see the huge number of people that we're about to see. This one's always a good one. I've done this for a few years now. Fan Forum is opportunity to see the drivers and
team principals sometimes. We get up on the stage, we have a Q&A, and then we'll go around, hopefully today, and give out some hats and sign some things. But it's an opportunity to meet the fans, to go through this now. I'm doing brilliantly. It's a lovely sunny day in Budapest. What else could you ask for? Thank you very much. Here's the big comparison to a year ago, or 2 years ago, I would say. There wasn't really anyone out there supporting Williams. And then last year you sort of saw green shoots pop up, and now if you have a look at that fan base, there is a huge number. And also what's interesting to me is they're not all one team. So for example, it's completely normal for an individual to be wearing I'll give you an example, McLaren shirt and a Williams cap. Obviously my job is to convert them fully to Williams rather than this hybrid state we're in today, but even so, it's a good thing. Morning there. Morning. Morning, everyone. I was just reading through notes on the way in this morning about what we're going to change on the car, and I think we've got a good direction for today.
So you're in early today?
So there is a competition Lars and I do. No one else is participating in this competition, so it's a self-made competition of trying to be the first team principal in every day. That's just sort of a jokey side of it. What I really enjoy is this 20-30 minutes now where it's quiet and you can just reflect on the day and get your head sorted a little bit. So I enjoy this part. So if we break down 3 practice, there's 3 sessions on a non-sprint weekend, which is where we are here in Budapest. FP1, FP2, FP3, aptly named. Each one is 1 hour. An hour seems like a long time, but I assure you it disappears. So what we're trying to do is this. As best as possible, understand how the car is working in a qualifying condition and in a race condition. That's number one. So how do we get the tyres into the right window for a single lap? How many laps can they do? What's the balance like? What do we need to be thinking about before we get into qualifying? How does it work when it's cooler and when it's warmer, which is what happens between FP1 and FP2. Typically, the FP2 is a warmer of the 2 sessions, but also more representative of qualifying. You're trying to cram that all into a short period of time. On top of that, what you're trying to do is give your crew pit stop practice and practice connecting, for example, to modifying the front wing and qualifying turnaround. So it is an experiment in order to understand how this car reacts in different configurations. So those are the 3 sessions. FP1 and FP2 are pretty much mirroring each other. We're doing low fuel, high fuel. FP3 though is just all about qualifying. So it's all about low fuel work, typically 2 soft tyres, and preparing for going into qualifying. Morning, everyone.
Morning, how are you doing? All right?
Very good. Very good. So it's Sunday, it's just after midday. We came in this morning around about 8 a.m. or so we're 4 hours in. But here's the interesting thing, it never feels like you have that period of time at the track, it just disappears in moments. At around about 10 a.m. or so, we have the tactics meeting, which is the opportunity to discuss what we're going to do strategically with both cars. From then onwards, there was another meet and greet to show people around the garage at the same time, 2 more discussions, a bit of media. So it varies on the morning. It's generally a little bit more lighter, even though that sounds incredibly busy. It's a little bit more lighter than it is on Friday. So it gives me some opportunity to sit here and just go through some plans for next week and thinking forward, because it's dynamic and changes week on week. But here's the kicker, that's what I enjoy about the job. There's no 2 days that are even close to one another, and that's what makes it interesting.
One good thing for me is I'm incredibly fortunate to have Carlos and Alex who are here for a number of years. So there's no driver contracts across the break, which is a blessing. I think that will be happening, up and down the grid for a few others. So good news for me. I can relax in that regard. And then the break itself, it depends on the years. Normally I would always be going away, but obviously we were blessed with a young baby boy just a few weeks ago, and my primary focus is changing nappies.